Hey guys, welcome back to the channel, or if you're new here, welcome. So today I'm going to talk about living without a smartphone in 2025, which sounds pretty weird to say, but I guess that's quite a thing, and it seems like a lot of people are looking this up nowadays. So yeah, I just want to share like how I make it work. What do I have instead, like what do I use instead of a smartphone? So quick background. I was lucky enough to grow up with no smartphone, no cell phones, and I've heard it said that Maine is like 10 years behind the rest of the country as far as like how, you know, society is and such, and it kind of seems to be true. So growing up, I didn't have a cell phone, my friends didn't have cell phones, and thinking back to my own childhood compared to seeing how kids interact today, we had it made. We've, you know, spent a lot of time outside playing, building forts, water gun fights, cowboys and Indians, the whole shebang, right? Building shelters in the woods. So that just wasn't a part of life. And it wasn't until high school that I would see other kids with cell phones, like flip phones, and it really didn't even see many smartphones. Like the really rich kids had some smartphones, but it was just starting to trickle in a little bit. So I got my first phone, my first cell phone. I was 18 and, you know, going to work, and my parents were like, you know, you should have a phone in case your truck breaks down. So I was like, okay. So I went to Family Dollar, picked up a flip phone, track phone for 10 bucks, put some minutes on it, and that was my phone. And I did not get my first smartphone until it was like December 2019, and I had it for 4 years and 3 months. And I said, enough of this, I've had enough. What reeled me into getting a smartphone in the first place was just the idea of having a camera that could fit in your pocket so easily, because I really liked taking pictures of my kids and stuff. So that's what suckered me in, was, you know, having a camera. And it wasn't even that, it did take really cool pictures, but it wasn't super fancy, because I think it was less than $200 for my phone. Yeah, so I mainly got it to take pictures. But I got tired of constantly having the internet in my pocket, and I've mentioned this before. I've talked a little bit about this before on my channel, so sorry if I'm repeating myself on any of this. I got so tired of the constant input of information into my brain. I swear it added to my fatigue. Just always thinking, not even thinking, just always consuming information, always having this input in my mind, you know, sitting and waiting at a doctor's office or something, and, you know, if you got a smartphone in your pocket, you're going to use it. And instead of just sitting there and just allowing your mind to just wander, allowing your thoughts to flow, just thinking about different things, people watching, I like people watching, striking up conversations with strangers, you know. Before I got my smartphone, I was in a doctor's office in the waiting room, and I had Charlene, little tiny baby Charlene, and struck up this conversation with a woman sitting across from me, and she was from Germany. So that was pretty cool, and she asked if she could hold Charlene, and I was like, yes, of course. And she's like, oh, when she grows up, you'll have to tell her that a German woman got to hold her. And I was like, I will. I don't know, it was just, we had some small talk and stuff. It was just so nice to have a conversation. And I just wonder if both of us had been engrossed in our phones, which I didn't have one yet, if we would have missed out on that opportunity. Every time I think about that woman, I smile. So yeah, I got tired of constantly having this pull towards the phone. Like, even if it was off and I wasn't using it and it was like in my pocket or something like that, I just kind of felt like almost subconsciously torn. Like my focus was fragmented. So it just the fact of it being around, reminding me of, you know, potential messages or whatever, just like the world right sitting right there. I definitely felt like my focus was fragmented and I wasn't totally in the moment where I was, even when I wasn't using it. And then there was a day, because I used to read a lot and I used to write a lot, journaling, creative writing kind of thing. And as I, you know, used my smartphone more, I did those things less, and I really didn't like that. I really missed that kind of aspect, but like, you know, especially as a mom, you only have so much time and you have to pick and choose what you do with it, you know, budget your time, kind of like money. And I was kind of defaulting to using the phone. So one day I was like, you know what, I'm gonna read a new book. So I sat down to read a new book and I felt restless, and it was so annoying. And I'm gonna blame it on the phone. Maybe I had too much caffeine that day, but it was hard to sit and just concentrate on the words on the page and really just kind of get into the book. I can't really describe it, but it was, I felt restless. Like it was hard to concentrate, and I was like, whoa, this is bad. I don't know if it's just because my brain was so used to just sitting and, you know, having just like this, you know, change of, you know, pictures and information and, you know, videos and content and just, you know, things just happening so fast to just open up a book and just consume the words on the page. It felt restless, and I was like, okay, I'm done. So I think it was February or March 2024. I went back to a flip phone, and there was some back and forth having to switch providers because I was with US Cellular and they did not support the Nokia 2780, which is what I have. So I switched to Verizon, but their service stinks in my area. So then I recently this year, so I had Verizon for almost a whole year. And no, I had Verizon for a year, and I could not stand it any longer. Their service stunk here. So I switched to AT&T. Walked into the AT&T store and I was like, hey, I'd like to set up a prepaid account with you guys. And they're like, oh, well, we don't support that phone. And I bought the Nokia 2780 unlocked. And I remember reading online that it said it was, you know, compatible with their service. But I'm like, okay, I mean, they're the pros, right? They know what they're talking about. So anyway, they're like, well, you gotta go to Walmart, pick up a flip phone, and bring it in and we'll set you up. So I went in and got the only flip phone available. I don't even know what it was for a flip phone. It had that KIOS or whatever software, which is what the Nokia has, but the phone was terrible. I only used it for 3 months, and the buttons were all sticking together, and texting was an absolute nightmare. Like, I don't mind T9 texting, but when you know, all the buttons would stick together or would skip over, and then I'd type it all out, and then I'd have to go back and fix everything. Oh my word, I got so sick of that. It's a piece of junk, so don't bother getting I think it was a $29, you know, $30 flip phone from AT&T. Don't bother. So I was like, you know what? I was about ready to just wind it in the trash. I was so mad. So one day I was like, I'm going to see what happens. I'm going to take the SIM card out of that phone. I'm going to put it in my Nokia 2780 and see what happens. And lo and behold, it works. So this is what I have. I love the big buttons. My brothers make fun of me and say I'm a mame and this is my jitterbug, but hey, you know. So I don't know if you can see. I'm gonna wait for it to focus. Oh, do you see how that time just changed? It was lagging behind. It said 12 o'clock and then it just updated to 12:09. This time in the corner here is always accurate. This one, kind of when you open your phone, takes a minute to catch up, but that's never a problem. Like if I'm ever looking at the time on the inside of the phone, I always just look up in the corner to see if it's actually that time. But I always wear a watch anyway, so alright, so this phone works pretty good. The battery lasts for days. It's got a little bit of etching on the bottom of the screen from, I guess it must touch the keyboard or something when I close it. And the only other thing, I dropped it and busted the corner off the case. So once in a while I'll open the screen and it'll just be a white screen and it won't be responsive to any of the buttons. It doesn't happen often, but when it does happen, I just pop the battery out, stick it back in, and it goes away. So I don't know if that's because I dropped it or if it's a software issue. But overall, I am tickled to death with this phone. Works great. It's the one that I had from last year, and I'm just glad it works with AT&T. And yep, got a camera, flashlight, calculator, all that stuff. Let's see what else. Speakerphone. This phone does have like so this phone does have a YouTube app. It has maps, and I think email and Google. But those things are so difficult to use on this that I don't use them. I've tried them out just to try them and see, but well, I've never even bothered with the email thing. I don't do email on my phone. So the maps, I have tried that out before, and that is accurate, but it's not like a smartphone where it's like it tells you audibly step by step what to do. You just type in your destination and you can toggle. You have to sit there and toggle through the different steps. But I just wanted to see for funsies, like, how accurate is this thing? So that does work. YouTube, you know, I've probably looked up maybe 2 or 3 music videos or something on here, but it's so difficult to use. I don't bother, and that's kind of the point. So with all that being said, oh, and I recommend, if you go with the Nokia 2780, I recommend you get the case to go with it because it's a little textured, you know. But the phone without that is very smooth and slick, and you're probably gonna drop it. I dropped it with the case on, so that's pretty bad. I definitely would have dropped it without it. So you're probably wondering, how do I make this work? Number one, I basically only use my phone, call, text. Sometimes I use a calculator. That's it. And sometimes I take pictures, but not very often. So for photos, I have been trying out the Vivitar PopSnap digital zoom camera, and yeah, of course it's not going to be as great as a smartphone camera, but it's kind of nostalgic. I think it's very nostalgic, and it does take some decent photos so that you could have, you know, if you wanted to collect some memories and put in a little photo album or something. It takes decent photos. For a cheap digital camera. So it is definitely nothing high end. I think it was like 30 bucks. But yeah, it's been fun, and it's small, so it's that I can fit right in my pocket if I wanted to, or throw it in my purse or the truck or something. I've never been one to use the Notes app in a phone anyway. I am more of a paper pencil list person, so I just picked up some of these little field books. This one has graph paper in it, and it also has a ruler in the back. But I mean, you don't have to get these. I've also used like those little mini memo spiral books. Those are pretty cheap. You can get like a pack of 4 of them or something for $1. But yeah, I'm always a list, paper and pencil kind of person anyway. Hi. Yes, you're a good girl. Yes, you're a good girl. You're so beautiful. Oh, you're so beautiful. Oh. Oh, the flies biting your face. Are they getting your ears? Excuse you. Music. So, I am currently working on getting rid of my Amazon Music subscription. And I am downloading songs onto an MP3 player. So, kind of going old school that way. It's a cute little MP3 player, works good. Navigation. So before I got a smartphone in 2019, I've always just looked directions up online, printed them off if I needed to, or just jotted them down on a piece of notepaper and taped them to my dashboard. So kind of old school. Earlier this month, I did buy a Garmin GPS because it was a great deal and I got it on sale, but I have yet to set it up. So I don't travel a whole lot. Maybe my life is boring. I don't know. So kind of branching off the whole notebook thing, I do enjoy reading books, mostly nonfiction. I do read some fiction to the kids, but also journaling, getting back into that. I kept a journal since I was 8, but never, consistently. Like I'll write in a journal sometimes for a couple years and then kind of fall off the wagon a little bit. So I picked up this beautiful leather-bound journal from Paul on the Maine Outdoor Enthusiast channel. He sells these on his website. I'll link them below, but this is a very beautiful journal. It's got nice pages, a place for the date. It has nice binding. And it smells amazing. So yeah, I highly recommend you journal, even if you don't ditch your smartphone. I think journaling is good. It's always fun to look back at the memories and stuff. So I also don't have Facebook anymore. I got that right after I got my smartphone, and I also deleted that sometime last year. One of the things that I have heard people say that is really difficult for them to quit Facebook is because of the little the memories thing that pops up, and they really enjoy all the photos and the memories and stuff, and just kind of that trip down memory lane, if you will, through Facebook. And that's like the reason why they don't get rid of Facebook. If you want to get rid of Facebook and that's your only hang up, journal. Just write it in a journal, take pictures, make some little photo books or something. You don't need Facebook. It's okay. You can survive without it. And you know what? To be honest, I'm sure everybody's experience is different. However, besides my family members, I probably only have 2 or 3 people from my friends list on Facebook that I talk to, on the regular. Maybe 2. Maybe it's only 1. Anyway, nobody's gonna miss you. I'm sorry. It sounds tragic, but it seems like there's a lot of, everybody's, checking out your posts and this and that, but you know what? Nobody's even gonna miss you when you're gone. I know that sounds awful. So yeah, I recommend getting a journal. And I got this really cute pen. It's the Olight, what is it, the Olight Mini 2? Yeah, the Olight Pen Mini 2. I was just looking for small pens. Come on. There it goes. I was just looking for small pens. I didn't even know that Olight made one. It's really cute. See, it's got this little gizmo here. You push it up one way and it's a pencil. And then you push it down the other way and it's a pen. And then of course it's just got a neutral in the middle there. But look at that, look how cute that is. Something I could throw in my cargo pocket or, whatever, bushcraft bag or, so it's a cute little pen. So if you want to get rid of your smartphone, I think you probably could. There's a lot of people that don't think it's possible. They're convinced it's impossible to live in society this day and age and do it without a smartphone, which I think is sad. And maybe some people are gonna think that, well, you're privileged because you don't need a smartphone. And maybe I am, I don't know. But again, I kind of feel like maybe it's kind of like that, you hear about these fitness trainers, right, that were never overweight their whole life, and so then to better relate to their clients, they gain a bunch of weight and then lose it with the clients to see just what the struggle is. I never had a smartphone until 2019. I'm like, let's see what all this hype is all about. Let's, you know, the camera's kind of cool. Let's do it. Yeah, and I'm going back to what life was like before that, because it's just not worth it to me. So even if you have to have a smartphone for work, like if your job requires you to, I think there might be some workaround where, you know, you could have a personal phone and put away the smartphone on the weekend or something. You know, where there's a will, there's a way. You'll figure it out, but it can be done. I do it. I've been doing it my whole life, except for that stint with the phone. And again, maybe I'm privileged, maybe I'm boring, but you can do it. Alright guys, I hope you found this encouraging and maybe helpful, and thanks for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one.